So in 2013, the world lost Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was one of the most noted persons who understood and practiced forgiveness in the face of injustice. In 2010, I finished a research project on the topic of forgiveness, studied it for 3 years, and then came out with a book called Escaping the Pain of Offense, Empowered to Forgive from the Heart. I've had my own experiences in forgiving both sides of the aisle as an offender and as one who's been offended. As a counselor, I've walked through many journeys with people who practice forgiveness and find freedom through forgiveness. And I have a few thoughts to share today. Briefly, my name is Dr. Ed Hirsch. I'm not a medical doctor, but I am a heart specialist. So how can forgiveness be such an important part of healthy living and yet so little practiced? There's so many people talking about it. There's a lot being written about it, but it seems like so few people actually do it. That's an important question, and I think there's a number of things that might explain, but one of the things is that we often focus on the symptoms more than we focus on the root causes. Anger, for example. If we look at anger and we fail to see how it turns into bitterness and then hatred, then resentment, even toward revenge, it's the maybe the hurt that got stuck somewhere, then the grudges that form against the people who hurt us. That whole process of sorting out the root causes is important. And Nelson Mandela once said, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. And we know that's true. We know it's not good, but we have to do the hard work of going through the process of discovering where the source is to the problem. Another reason people aren't practicing forgiveness is because they just simply have misbeliefs about what it really is. For example, many believe that forgiving is just forgetting, but we can't forget something we haven't remembered. If we don't know what specifically we're forgiving, then we can't translate that into a fruit of forgiveness. If we believe that it's just a matter of choice and we can choose with our willpower to get past whatever it is, again, our heart's not involved, so we can't experience the true fruit of forgiveness. It's so much more than a choice. It's closely related to love. Love is very much a part of forgiveness. It's also very closely related to surrender. In fact, my definition, my working definition of forgiveness is surrendering to God the right to judge. Instead of us as a human being responsible to judge, we give that over to God. Now that doesn't mean we have to give up the right of justice to be served, but we take it out of our hands. It's not in our hands anymore. We surrender it to God for his judgment. And if you're a God follower, then forgiveness is already accomplished. If you're trusting Christ as your forgiver, then when you go to forgive others, you're relying on what he has already done. It's his power. It's his forgiveness that you're extending to others. It also helps to distinguish between forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is a process whereby you surrender to God the right to judge another. Reconciliation is more the human to human part. After you get things right with God and you go to another person, they may or may not be willing and ready to have the same kind of response. So keeping that in mind, keeping in mind that the key part for you and what you are responsible for is to God, and you can get things right with God whether or not another person is ready. These are some of the themes that are in my book. Again, it's called Escaping the Pain of Offense, Empowered to Forgive from the Heart. Hope it could be a resource to you. And if I can be of any further help on the topic, interperson change is something that's on my heart, and I'd love to engage with you or a group that wants to study it more. Please give me a call. And meantime, I hope that you're dwelling richly in God's forgiving grace.